Welcome to the Viral Ideas podcast. We are Josh and Runda, and we're two agency owners that for too long we've just yapped about different ideas. So we basically made this podcast, and today we have Gabriela Otero with us. Gabriela is a multilingual content strategist. Welcome to the pod.
Hi, my name is Gabriela. I'm a copywriter, content strategist. I work both creating content in English and Spanish. And one of my recent projects that I work at Canva as a copywriter for Canva Mexico.
I'm so excited for the viewers this time because we have ideas that are about translating contracts as a lucrative business model, creating a brand guidelines gallery, and then how I can profit by creating my book printing business. An AI-powered fashion stylist that will overtake your life, and sponsoring $10,000 logo tattoos. If you're not already interested, I think you should get into the episode because you might miss the next $1 million idea.
Let's get after it. Gabriela, what's your first idea for today?
So this first idea has been brewing because of a need. Like, for example, I've been working as a freelancer for 5 years. And one of the things that I'm thinking about is that, first of all, nobody reads their contracts. And it would be worse if you're reading a contract that is not in your native language. And some of my friends who are also like freelancers from other countries and they have international clients. So I was like, why don't we have like pre-translated contract bundles so companies can buy and they say, hey, a big company hire people or staff from South America or Asia. So even though the main communication could be in English, but at least the contract could be in the native language of the person you're hiring so they can understand what they're signing for or what can be negotiable. So that's something that I was like thinking about. Of course, it would be like using AI and review by some lawyers to make sure that the jar makes sense. So that's something that I was like thinking about, especially that for us as creatives, like, so at least like start like selling like in the most popular languages, like Spanish, Mandarin, French for people or companies or freelancers who are working like at a global scale.
I think I'm instantly seeing a huge opportunity here for a lawyer that already specializes in this type of law, obviously, for them. If they just want something that is just the perfect tool to get a funnel of new clients, I would do this, like offer this out for very cheap or free and collect people's emails to gather this information. They might actually prefer to give it away for free because that might then like limit their liability if the contract goes bad. But I think this is like the perfect chance for a funnel. Offer this as a digital asset that anybody can download for free. All they have to do is provide their email. This lawyer that would then have all of those emails, which are going to be from companies that are hiring freelancers and also freelancers who are getting hired by companies. Both of these people, like naturally over time, one of them is going to run into a legally complex situation where they need help. Either like a freelancer's like not going to get paid, or some company's going to have some contract not get delivered. There's going to be something that will go wrong at some point. And I think the real value is just being in mind for that and just having that like general flow of communication.
Licensed like translation companies who have law firms or even can work for immigration like businesses, especially countries like here in Canada or United States that has a lot like immigration agencies.
Yeah, those are like the exact people that would be benefiting from this. Even if you're not a lawyer or something, I still think this is a chance to just build this into a template. There are so many template selling funnels on the internet that we all scroll past every day. Like, download this Notion template on how to organize your second brain. And get my grocery list Google sheet for $15. Buy now. Play that game. Do it.
I think the independent law practice template direction makes a lot of sense. You'd be surprised on how little templates that an independent lawyer might have in their database. A lot of them kind of do generate their service revenue to write net new contracts. Sometimes they literally don't even have any templates. What's actually very interesting to me is the AI portion. having like an AI dialogue, because actually going into the process of understanding a contract of buying a home, for example, when you spend that $1,500 on a lawyer to literally just read the entire contract or real estate transfer contract.
And not only that, the translation, because you have to pay for a licensed translation
Yes.
company to translate it for you, or vice versa. So this is like templates already like translated with the most popular languages, and especially if it's a lawyer who has a multiple cultural background or is fluent in certain languages.
Yes. And then I think like even at the time, as someone that's just like being briefed on what the contract means, that was $1,500 for that entire service. And now I'm just like, oh, that's all I'm getting. I'm getting like a PDF marked up document along with like a follow-up phone call by the lawyer. If I just like had an AI dialogue with and then uploaded this contract, I would have understood this entire contract. I already read like majority of the words. It's just like the legalese that I don't understand.
Or in my case, they can explain to my Spanish in my own dialect so I can understand. So especially with whole like in my case having legal documentation in English, even though I'm fluent and know how to speak with the legal jargon, I still struggle to comprehend.
Especially even when you're in a corporate enterprise or department level, you might think that, well, why don't you just go to your own corporate lawyer and chat with them about like whatever project that requires this legal document to be figured out. But in actuality, if you're like exploring international markets or going into a region where like they have like a second native language, and then you need to execute some kind of contract, your own corporate lawyer might only answer your emails or your calls for like 2-3 business days, even when like they work in the same company. If you just had an AI, you probably would have gotten the answer that you should have gotten in 20 minutes. And then this way, you're getting such a efficiency in your workflow that you just truncated that 2 to 3 business days into just like 20 minutes to then forward it over to the corporate lawyer to see, hey, I just generated this rough draft. This is like roughly a brief of what I'm trying to do here. Can you just look through and edit, revise, versus you write or like write a net new contract?
So are you kind of saying basically like this could also be like a custom GPT essentially? That's crazy.
And it could go in many ways because, like, for example, I tested out like any like language like generative AI. Even like if they do it in other languages, that would be also so beneficial because, like, for example, let's say someone who is based in Europe but they don't know fluent English. So they can say, "Hey, I have this big client, big contract, and the office in the US." So they can prompt it in their native language into English, and they can send out the whole like contract that also can work too. Because like sometimes generative AI, like English, it works very well, but compared to other languages, still like some fallacies.
I'm hitting the buy button on the imaginary buy button on that idea.
I also have a reference here that I just remembered. There's this Instagram page of these, I think, yeah, they're based in Australian and they're kind of like a creative studio. Essentially, it's like a couple that are doing creative work. And a large portion of their demographic or like their content and how they get their views is literally just creating these freelancer templates. And then every time they do like a template freelancer post of anything about like just boring legal jargon or structuring the proposal or a client agreement or creating the scope of work document. They create these templates and then I swear to God, every single one of these posts go viral every time. Just on the boring business stuff, it's consistently over 10K views. All these templates are getting 20K views.
Yeah, and they're probably they're probably around like similar price point that you'd probably want to use for this thing as well.
Yeah. Let's see what's the price point of these templates. Over $100 per template.
Really?
That's actually insane. Yeah.
You say 10.
I'm seeing all these templates being consistently over $100 and I can get $20 off if I sign up to their email funnel. But yeah, this is how lucrative templates could be. And to anyone that's thinking, oh yeah, translated templates, it's going to be such a small little throwaway opportunity. No, this is actually going to be huge. If you just design templates and then created common business templates into different languages in different use cases.
Yeah.
And design them nicely like these people have so that people look at it and it's just like, okay, this is a clear value transfer here. Like, I couldn't do this. Like, I couldn't design it that well. And obviously the translation and all of the legal side of it is its own thing. Like, yeah, you can really charge any price you want at that point within reason.
Actually, with people who has like big money who are currently buying property like in Mexico or in Europe or like that is also like, especially with real estate, like especially with properties like vacation rentals.
There's a different regional nuance on the legal jurisdiction on like where they are. You can really customize these templates into the local language and the local region. I would argue that you can literally take what they're doing, just do the same thing. My guess is those templates is really just like based on the Australian legal jurisdictions. You can just like take that and then do a French one or a Spanish one. There's a lot of Brazilian creatives too. So like just make it in Portuguese or something like that. And just watch.
That's it.
Yeah, that's a really good digital product. Honestly, we don't get enough digital product ideas on the podcast. So thank you. That was awesome. I think before we give away too much, let's go into the next one, guys.
Yes.
Just for the viewers that don't understand what brand guidelines are. So when a business or a corporation, they develop this brand, they need like a comprehensive, consistent style of look. Whether it's the consistent use of logos on like the spacing and how big it should be, all those small specifications will need to be defined, and the colors that the brands use, the fonts, or sometimes it's like also the written tonality of styles that they typically create in any of their brand or marketing collateral copy. So a lot of these brand guidelines exist for a bunch of these corporations. Okay, if they're spending all these time, money, and resources to develop their look and feel in order to achieve a comprehensive guidelines, a lot of times these things just exist in a PDF format. And then some of these brand guidelines, they are just available in the public. Like public can actually access it. And I don't think any brands is really self-conscious about people in the public discovering their brand guidelines. Sometimes they're literally turned into like a public URL that anyone can just review and see. If they're a big brand, they will need the media or journalists to use their brand properly, or like at least give them a guideline for the external partners to use their brands properly. Here we have the Instagram guideline that's just super easy to access. And they also have the logo pack right there available to download freely. When their employees' experience of these brand guidelines is typically as a very long PDF that's maybe like 200 pages if it's like a really old and comprehensive brand. So I know that this website exists. This website is called brandstyleguides.com. And essentially like they just created like a library or database of all these PDF brand guidelines that's available for you to review. Some of these brand guidelines are URLs. It's typically for like designers to get inspiration. And this was a big idea in my brain when I first discovered it. And then now I'm like, okay, why is it only online? It's still the similar corporate experience of like getting a giant 200-page PDF. This PDF is actually 225 pages. I'm just like, okay, some of these brand guidelines are really beautiful. They should just print this out. But who would actually benefit from these things being printed out? What if you just created like a physical manifestation of this branding style guides, but essentially you call it the brand guidelines library. Now, I think the easiest way to get like media coverage for this effort is probably with like a brand library pop-up where you're just like displaying and exhibiting all these like interesting, beautiful brand guidelines, but like in physical book format. And then for people to interact with, like it's people who are for the first time discovering these brand guidelines documents exist, or maybe it's just the designers that's in a huge affiliation or like appreciation for these brand guidelines and how comprehensive they are. And I think that alone, just having a physical brand library would get enough local media coverage in order for this story to go viral. But then once you get a viral attention, to get some engagement, or maybe you've captured some emails. I think the real opportunity is to create a printing business, specifically a book printing business. And the whole premise is all these international corporations with their corporate departments, they probably don't have all these brand guidelines printed out physically to give to their employee departments or anyone to reference physically. Every individual, they learn or interact with the world differently. So I think there's a large demographic of these employees in corporate offices. They would benefit in their workflow or learning style for these brand guidelines if they just received a physical book. Plus something tactile, and it feels nice to get something physical from your department while working on the work of like, maybe it's like corporate brand design or something like that. So I think the real business is just like create a package deal, cold email or direct mail. It could literally be a direct mail to the local corporate office department leads, or create these like banner ads. Or maybe they're like the marketing department leader. Literally give them a package deal to say $1,000, and then you get 100 physical brand guidelines that are like up to 100 to 200 pages.
Yeah, and also I was thinking about it also, like even like advertising agencies can benefit it too with the clients with the best award-winning and guidelines. But it could be for not only for bragging rights for the agency, but also for the employees to either like showcase it or have it even as a physical collection, because sometimes happens when you develop a campaign can be digital, but sometimes like Runda said, it does have the physical material of all this hard work. It could be like a customization to that realm to, the Oscars they give to the winners and nominees like goodie bags of all those sort of things. That could be also like I think for the agencies or who are nominated on the big four categories, to send it to people who are nominated or winning.
I'm not even like going for like the agency demographic. I just want a McDonald's corporate that just hires 50,000 employees. Let's say maybe in their corporate office, they might have like 10,000 employees. And then the marketing and brand department might have like, I don't know, 3,000. Potentially like giving those 3,000 employees physical books, man, like this printing business is going to pop off.
In that case, I want like a Duolingo book, especially with the not only the bird, but also a Duolingo has like different characters. So it could be like a storybook of the different characters to send it to create like a printing, like branding for Duolingo. It could be like a children's story. So that would be really fun to see. Like I would love to see a Duolingo version.
But this is already huge in the fashion space.
Yes, even with the movies too, because there are a lot of books about films. Like for example, one of my favorite books of this style is the Hotel Grand Budapest.
Yeah, I think it's also kind of playing on the same thing as the Criterion collection for people who don't know. Like I'll show sometimes copies of these movies like can be worth quite a bit. Like they're kind of treated like these collectible hardcover books that fashion industry has definitely tapped into that. Would it be crazy to think that some people are like proud of their work? There are probably a lot of people who would want to buy these books just as something to have for themselves. I think it doesn't really matter how you sell this thing. You just need to be the printer, because the printer is the one who makes all the money in the end. Kind of like in an election. Like it doesn't really matter what the product is. Like this is a thing that people would want, and you would want to be the one on the manufacturing side of it.
I have some kind of like print collateral or book idea every other week. And every time I think about these ideas, I'm just really tempted on buying a printing business. I just want to be a local print shop operator.
Genuinely asking though, like, that high quality, so that you're saying like, this is a $100 hardcover book. Like this is a beautiful piece of art to have. What does it take to like make stuff like that? Like, is that a boutique print house, or is it like only like a really serious company can do that? I think that's where most of the opportunity is. It is doing it in a way nicer way than anybody else takes the time to.
It gets complicated when you add on the specialty printing like embossing or like gold flakes. But I think if it's just flat, then it's relatively simple to get the materials and then the wrapping that you need, and then streamline those techniques down. And then binding these books is probably going to be like a little bit more of a manual process. But other than that, I don't think it's that difficult. The easiest step for me is probably just buying a local print shop that already prints books for like 200K and then do seller's financing and then learn from the owner on like how to exactly bind books for 6 months.
Or even like how to design, like adapt the design from digital to physical, because that's another thing to do. Especially if the people wants to create like a new cover, because each shade, for example, the green of Nike, it could be different from the green of Duolingo, or the red from Coca-Cola can be different from the red of McDonald's.
Yeah, to see it on a physical thing, that's an insanely good point, because that's like having the actual physical swatches matters. Like no screens are alike. I mean, like, hey, like I'm looking right now in front of me. I got my laptop, my phone, and an external monitor. The color of white is different on all three of those.
Yes.
It's like that, like, this is just how cameras are. They have different white balances on them. It's not really like screens. There's just so many variables at play. But like having that printed cover is going to be not only useful for, designers and people like that to have, but also for the content creation side of it. I know for a fact that it's often a challenge in doing product or any type of brand photography, is like, does the color look quite right? And like having it physically there can make a big difference for a production team.
Yeah, the thousands of dollars wasted in the advertising industry on just like printing a subway poster. It's literally insane.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I'm sure that so many reruns have to happen, right? Like where it's like, oh, the yellow's not popping enough, and then the printer house is like, what do you mean it's not popping enough?
What like, is pop? Define pop. We know you have this proprietary blue, but we're trying to get close because you don't have the budget for us to actually buy the Pantone. But like, what is pop?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And everybody's losing their minds, screaming, tearing their hair out. For that large scale corporation, like McDonald's, where it's like, yeah, they have so many employees. Like, this is just like such an obvious no-brainer. If you were selling it to small companies, like agencies that have like 50 or fewer employees and things like that, it's for vanity at that point. Like, you would just be saying, like, don't you want your office to like have this in it and look really nice in your waiting room? Yeah, put it by an Eames chair and then like take a picture of yourself.
Oh, who did this? No, we did that. I can't imagine like the whole like pettiness and bragging rights, like having like these. We did the brand of this one.
That was an easy layout.
All right, let's not beat around the bush now and move on to the next idea. What have you got, Gabby?
Something that I struggle with that is like what I'm going to wear, because for me, I am a girl. Unlike you, Runda, that you always wear like the same white shirt or white sweater. I don't know what to wear. And for me, and something that I struggle is that, first of all, I'm not going to hire like a stylist or personal shopper, because way too expensive and I don't know what to say. And of course, like the social media with fashion creators or even Pinterest, sometimes I don't have the words, or sometimes like my style changes and my buying habits too. So it's basically like a fashion stylist and wardrobe manager. Like, for example, that will not only like help me to match the current aesthetic that I want to match during the day, but also making sure that I don't either buy the same thing or help me to come out with inspiration or outfits ideas. Like, for example, the first outcome is basically like a virtual stylist and personal shopper that I can, of course, take pictures of all my clothes and then integrate it with my account of past shopping online from online stores. So it can create like a history, not only that is educating of the type of style of products that I aim to buy, but also makes it working. Oh, you bought something similar before that, so don't buy it like again. And so that's one way that it can be like tracking like my aesthetic preference and also making sure that I don't overbuy or buy the same thing. The second approach is basically a fashion archetype. That's very like niche for a woman, because it's a fashion like archetype framework. Like, for example, to put in a platform, it could be like an app on a website, say, hey, I want to give me inspiration of these certain like things that I like, color, this is certain like shapes. And they can give me like recommendation. Oh, you like clean girl aesthetic, mob wife aesthetic, or any type of aesthetics that is currently trending on the world of internet. And they give me not only recommendations about clothes, but also give me a recommendation about like makeup products that matches nail manicure. So because it makes because sometimes we have so many options. I don't know what I like or what I want because of the many options. And especially for me, I'm a believer that fashion is a way to say a message without saying it. So having like this guide or this tool not only will help me to give me the vocabulary to say what I want, that I want to wear, want to express that day, but also help me to get to not overbuy things that I'm not going to use, or I buy the same thing instead of reusing what we currently have.
This is totally becoming like a very popular thing. Retailers are starting to also notice that like, oh, like people want to like have the ability to like customize their outfits. So there's this website designer guy that sent me this. It was like something that he had done. And these like builders just get a picture of yourself and then like drag it over and like do that. It's simple enough that it can be built as a web app.
The unique proposition is about integrating to of the history of my past online purchases. So I'm gonna say, oh, I want to buy this black dress. So the app can say, you already have 3 black dresses, don't buy anymore.
Yeah, that's why I think it's actually best if this could be some type of web app that is integrated into your browser so that as you're shopping, like, as like let's say you're just going on to H&M website, have the ability to see like, just a quick drag and drop. Doesn't have to be a perfect 3D rendering of you. Just like what I just showed, like where it's just you standing there, drag a PNG over it, just quickly see how it looks. That is such like a great thing to deliver to people, and then that would also make it a very easy place to have like a centralized database of your outfits. I've actually seen some, to get back into the templates thing, I've seen people selling Notion templates for your organization of your outfits. And the real reason why people would be interested in that is because it's a centralized database that you could access anywhere at any time from any device to see that. You can add to it and edit it very easily, and it's just convenient. This could just be an extension of that just aims to take it like slightly more accessible than how people would be doing this on Notion, and basically charge like the same price. Like Notion is $20 a month. So this comes off to me as a product that like you could sell a free version of it where you say like, okay, you upload a picture of your shirt to the website, and then it just does a quick take a photo and turn it into a PNG that's been cut out. Upload that, put that into the database, include it with a picture of yourself, and just gives people like a very primitive version of it where, maybe like you upload up to 10 different items of clothing that you have. And then if the user wants to like fully buy in and like put in their entire life, then there's a good chance that like you could get that customer for like a really long time. You could be holding on to them for 5+ years easily, especially if you come in at a price that is like basically low enough that it's just like ignorable, like one of the cheaper Netflix plans or something, like just a number that people will not blink twice at. And then just be basically the highest priced database in the world, because all you'd be hosting are like a few PNGs of people's shirts and comparing that. Just make it convenient.
I love doing the quizzes about personality. Let's figure out your style. So that's something that could be like a really good like freemium like magnet to say, oh, let's figure out first what's your current like fashion style. So do like this whole quizzes. I still do it sometimes because I don't have the book. So that would be like a really good like magnet to say, okay, let's do like like figure out your style. Do you like your current style, or do you want to do the quiz to update it?
Guys, did you guys know that style coaches and fashion coaches exist in the market?
Sometimes the style coaches, or there's also like a body proportion of fashion biases. Or preferences. Like for example, yes, according to style coaches, they can style me things that are probably going to look good, but I don't like it, or I don't like these shapes. Especially like now with the trend about that it was for women is very excruciating because they put you things that looks good on your body, when you look in the mirror, like, yeah, it can look good, but I feel like crap. They have like a very like complex relation with their body. So that's a safe space to experiment without that type of like biases.
Yeah, I was going to validate that. I one time randomly got to chat with a fashion coach for men. And it was actually really interesting to hear like crypto bros was like a big thing. They always dress in like sweaters and sweatpants and just stay at home and press buttons to make their money. And there's just this large demographic of the population that are just like horribly dressed and they have no idea how to dress in social situations. So I think that validates the market, at least like for both genders. And I think to all our 80% heterosexual male viewership audience that don't understand fashion and have no idea what we're talking about on like, oh, why are these people talking so much about their outfits? Well, the Gen Z, at least in this generation, using the Apple Notes app to like create your outfit looks is a real thing.
Whoa.
So, you know the Apple image feature now, it has like an outline where you can literally isolate your subject matter that you're trying to isolate into. They're doing that in their photos that they take every day to favorite their outfits because you're able to paste these photos onto your Notes app. So I know this is already a behavior, and which kind of already validates, Josh, the website that you shared with like the different draggable outfits. When I think of it as an app for this kind of market, I feel like we're just closer to the movie Her, where it will eventually come into one point where you're consulting with this AI app, your personal stylist.
Like going on FaceTime with it, basically.
Exactly. Go on FaceTime with them and then tell them how you're feeling today. This is your agenda. And then you're kind of feeling shitty, but then you want something that makes you feel confident. And then they spit out like a perfect outfit for you, along with a sent-in message with like the AI pieced together outfit within your plan of your wardrobe. That might get you a lot of like subscription revenue just based on that, because like I think to have something like that is actually something that's worthwhile to pay 20 to $50 per month for. If this app in its final form where it's able to take a database of like all your outfits and piece together and generate an outfit for your body about the way you look and the way you feel, and then taking all that into account, I think, yeah, in the final form, it's like probably like a Duolingo Super Plus plan equivalent, where it's just like personal outfit stylist AI version of its own category. So I think that's really interesting to me.
Okay, this idea was a banger. We got 10 minutes and 2 more ideas. Let's do a lightning round.
Let's do it.
Okay, so you guys seen how like crazy people are with their insane tattoo decisions sometimes, right? What's the weirdest tattoo everyone have ever seen before? Even if it's just like online or in real life, doesn't matter.
Craziest? I mean, besides like someone's ex name.
Yep.
Or for there's one singer that has his partner face tattooed in his leg.
Okay. Like their full face?
Yeah, or someone has like a full Pokemon sleeve.
Well, to me, when I started to think about horrible tattoo decisions, I think this category of like tattoo decisions might be interesting and bad, but like also interesting to me, where it's just like they get McDonald's tattoo on them. Ronald McDonald, the clown, or like a McDonald's menu. I bet there's like probably also Costco tattoo out there too.
Google Mountain Dew tattoo. Those are the most ugliest tattoos.
So
There's some diehard fans.
and even Burger King probably has like a decent bit of tattoos out there. So when I think about these tattoos, obviously they're horrible decisions, like, or maybe it's a really good decision based on who you are as a person. If you're choosing McDonald's tattoo versus like something extremely horrible, I would probably opt for the McDonald's tattoo. But since this is already a behavior that exists within the world, I think brands should actually just offer an open reimbursement program for anyone that even gets their brand logo tattooed on them. I think you can define this program as like a 5 by 5 inches, and then you're able to get this reimbursement from. This is like no money to get your permanent brand presence onto someone's body, at least like in a permanent to semi-permanent way. Because think about the amount of impressions or like at least word of mouth conversations that you're just freely generating as a brand. I think like it might not work for like certain weird categories of brands, maybe some luxury designer products. But when I think about, okay, if someone has like Louis Vuitton tattooed on them, that might still generate some decent bit of brand recall because that's just like so not common. If any company can just like create this free logo tattoo programs to just get their logo tattooed on people and then just like create this relationship with tattoo shops, that's extremely interesting to me. And then as a tattoo shop owner, you can also opt in to become like a type of media company where you would approach to these corporate brands to get this relationship, to create this reimbursement tattoo program. And then all you were really pitching to your existing tattoo customers is really just get a free tattoo. But here's a list of free tattoos. McDonald's, Burger King, or Louis Vuitton, or like maybe it's Costco. And just like all the people that opt into the program with you. And that's just a beautiful thing of capitalism to me.
I think it's for like the clickbait title of the video, it sounds like a really insane idea, but I think at the end of the day, it's kind of like affiliate marketing in the sense that that person who gets the tattoo is just like an affiliate marketer in the sense that like they are getting paid the money for their influence that an advertiser would have otherwise been paid. So it's just like, it's very justifiable for the party that's paying them. And also like, you would kind of assume that this is somebody who's doing this because they want to do it. Although I will say, I think you'd want to have scalability. That's my only note for this one. You probably say like up to 1,000 or maybe even say up to 5,000, up to 10,000. Make it a number that is actually like sounds more viral and just make it on a reimbursement basis and just say like, we need to see a picture of the work and we need to like see the documentation of the payment.
We have the full authority to disapprove of the actual work.
Yeah, of course. But like, we'll be reimbursed like 1-to-1. So that will then help when you're like looking to get word out and it's time to make the TikTok videos. It's going to sound a lot better than saying like, hey, want to get like a free tattoo? Say, get a $10,000 free tattoo. It's just going to make the viral side of it a little bit easier. So that's my only note. Gabriela, any quick notes from you on that one?
I have tattoos. So like I was quoting like one tattoo here in Canada. I've never done it because I was like, and like a small one is like this size could be like 250. But if they told me that, oh, we will pay you $10,000 for a tattoo of McDonald's, and I'm like,
it's got to be like a $10,000 McDonald's M tattoo. That's like full body. Just like, that would be crazy.
Because it has to be like something, the tattoo, but also become like an ambassador.
Well, yeah, definitely. I think if you're like going that deep to make your entire body McDonald's, then like, yeah, you're ready.
Or for example, like I get paid like $800 for the like a tattoo and create like 5 videos about how wonderful McDonald's is. I'm a huge fan. So it's about also on the content creators perspective or the influencer marketing economy.
Seeing over here that Domino's once pulled a stunt of getting 400 people tattooing Domino's for free pizza on themselves. And now I'm like, okay, I'm only getting a free pizza to get a tattoo. That doesn't sound as interesting.
$150 or more, like a $400 for just a free pizza.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about it. Like, if it's like on the virality, like, hey, pay $200 for a tattoo, and we will give you on our logo give you this amount of money. Or if someone who's a content creator and loves this brand so much, they can do like a whole ass deal about the tattoo and another like brand deal, something about it. It could go in these two ways.
This program might work really well for like a luxury designer brand like Dolce & Gabbana, maybe for some kind of like dragon print style that they're trying to push for that season. They get someone like either get a model or like someone that they already have like a influencer program with to actually reimburse their tattoo on letting the similar dragon print along with like Dolce & Gabbana logo on them. That might also be interesting on like the opposite end of the spectrum, just like not cheap brands.
Or yeah, or for example, if someone has the the Louis Vuitton like red bottom shoes kind of like situation. It could go so many ways with this one.
Guys, this was a banger. We are out of time for the episode. Gabriela, thank you for joining us. And yeah, guys, anybody who's listening right now, if you ever want to go ahead with any of these ideas, or you have maybe a side idea that you got from one of these, message us about it. If you want to chat about it, we love new ideas.
If anyone is living around Ontario, Canada, or maybe New York or Chicago, and they want to invest in a print shop business, contact me. I really want to be a print shop operator.
Or for me, if you need any help with anything relating in Spanish, even with your contracts.
Yep,
Okay.
100%.
All right.